person after the ident. Is that going to be me again, or?
It can be you. You're the expert on hippos. I just gave all my expertise on hippos. And it's not the same kind of hippo.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm hitting the record button. Raz, good to go? It's now working. Okay. All right, off we go then. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good grief. No, I got that wrong, didn't I? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good grief. It's another podcast from Agile that is commonly used for these kind of people. I'm not quite sure why the title is highest paid opinion in the room. But for some reason, it's always said as hippos. Do we know why it's hippos, or is it just the phrase that's used?
It's almost an acronym.
It's nearly an acronym. Nearly an acronym.
It's a hard to pronounce acronym, so therefore people just rounded it around.
HI, highest paid opinion. I don't know.
HIPPO, highest paid opinion, HIPPO. Or highest paid person opinion.
Highest paid opinion, HIPPO, hippo. Okay, I could get there. So they're usually called hippos. So what we want to look at is, psychological safety. Do they get in the way, or can they help? And what stories do we have? I'll tell you one story I have, and then we'll move from there, which was a SVP at a large oil company. And I said, the team's not doing very well and they're making a lot of mistakes and they're a bit worried. And I suggested to him that he opened a team call with a story of his own sort of failure, as it were.
The other one I can think of is sometimes even just a small talk in agreement with someone can create some sort of expectation, and people just perceive it as an order. And it's really rely on the dynamic between the manager or those people with the title in the room. For example, I was coaching a team, and I realized that the team is constantly working on the project that's not really prioritized by the leader. And we review all those conversations they had, and we noticed that when the leader just said, yeah, that's a good idea, the people try to take that idea that the guy was just thinking that this is a good idea, but not in the backlog, for example. But they try to please that person by just working on that idea, spending time. Therefore, they couldn't allocate some time to do other stuff as well. So that was a very interesting thing for me, that I thought that could be something. Even leaders need to pay attention to the way that they communicate with their subordinates, let's just say, in this organization structure. So what do you think about that?
I think that's a really interesting point, because if I could flip out of organizational structures to do with business to organizational structures to do with church, I used to lead a church, don't now. And one of the things my mentor in church leadership said to me was, you don't have the luxury of a personal opinion, Ian. Whatever you say, people will take as a leadership statement. And I would, how I'd put what you've said to me, I've written something down that I think is one of my sort of truths to take away today, is small talk from hippos does not exist. It always means something to the people hearing it. And therefore, they've got to watch their small talk. I think that's a really, really well put point. And certainly as an exec coach, I'm going to think about how I catch that with people and make sure they watch. It's small talk doesn't. That's how I'd put it now. Small talk does not exist for a hippo. As you say, if the hippo goes, that's a great idea, by the way, and they're just trying to be nice. And the next thing that happens is, 25 man days of effort has been put in on a stupid idea that the hippo really didn't like, but they were just being nice to someone in a corridor.
Yeah. But this is the whole concept of presence, right? So they understand that every conversation they initiate has an impact. So they need to be mindful of the space they're creating.
Definitely. because they're always creating stuff. Well, just the Clubhouse audience, if anyone's got a story of this or an incident that they want to, if we've caused you in your mind to think, oh yeah, I've seen that happen, feel free to sort of just come up on stage and take a minute to tell us a story. We'd love to hear from you. We've got a lovely, strong Clubhouse audience for what is a Saturday recording. But if you've got any thoughts on that, we'd love to have you come up, but you don't have to. I do appreciate, I was reading an article on this, and some rooms definitely are full contribution rooms, and others are people want to listen but they don't really want to come up on stage. And I think given we're doing a recording of a podcast, that could be part of what happens as well, which is, people are in that mood. But if you want to come up, feel free. Raz and I are both on the moderator button, ready to bring anyone up who has a comment to make. So far we've got small talk from HIPPOs can get in the way. We've actually said even if they're just in the room, they can get in the way. That's true. The other thing we've briefly talked about for a few minutes is, and I already have the idea of, in Britain it would be David Attenborough going, here in the Serengeti, we can see two hippos charging each other for control of the territory. That would be how it would happen in the nature programs we'd have here in England. But that's what we saw, wasn't it? If there are a couple of hippos in the room, don't they all want to, as it were, clash their antlers? For what I'm mixing my animal analogies terribly, but do you know what I mean? Do you see that? How would you handle that?